Well, welcome everyone. I hope you are having a really nice afternoon. I'm Janita, I'm part of the Landa team. I see some external faces right now, so everyone is welcome. Today we have this community learning session with Ivan, who is our guest. Ivan is member of the cohort number 9 and is an expert in automatization, no code, has some experience working with startups. I'm really excited to have this session with you, Ivan. And yes, probably you want to introduce yourself and start with the topic, but just to let you know for the people that is like external from the Landa community, basically these sessions is an opportunity for the members to showcase and share more about their expertise and experience with the rest of the community. So I'm super excited to have this presentation and learn more about what you are thinking, even about no code and automatization tools for consultants.
Thanks so much, Jenny. Great intro. And I'm really happy to be here. Like I've been feeling in community ever since I joined Landa. So it's great to meet other consultants that have similar challenges that are either on no code, on sales and growth, and see how we can help them today as well on this intersection about automation and sales for consultants. So I'm really excited. I think we can get started. All right. So I've prepared a presentation. And you're gonna laugh probably at the title, because a bit of the origin of this presentation is that on Monday I talked to Gabriel, and we were discussing and chatting about, what are the challenges that both Lambda and the consultants inside Lambda have when it comes to sales. And most of the challenges when we're on this stage of, we have a niche, we have a service, and then it's just execution from there on. It's then going from 0 to 1. And when we're going through 0 to 1, especially when you're not that familiar to sales, it is always very much a frictional process because you're always overthinking how you do sales, how you send these messages, which tool should I use. And what I want to help you today is how we can stop complaining about sales, how we can kill those objections through automation and unlock that potential of utilizing no code and intuitive automations so we can get those sales done, so we can get them done faster and more smoother. So today we're going to have some goodies at the end. So if you stay tuned, we're going to have some cool automations that you'll be able to use for free and some other good goodies at the end as well. And just a small disclosure is that I've also kind of written this presentation just like talking to myself because I am also part of the program. I'm also going through this process of, defining my niche and then going out and selling, and that is kind of a very new process for me that I'm trying to embrace as best as I can. And I'm trying to learn so much. And part of the learnings that I'm going to share today are learnings that I've done by obsessing about sales in the last months. So I'm excited to get started. So who am I to talk about this? Oops. Oops. 1 second. So who am I? I'm definitely not your sales expert. I just want to make that clear. I am your automation guy, and I am your no-code guy. I've been a growth leader at one of the top AI automation firms in San Francisco that is called Bardeen. I've been working on the no-code space for 4 years. I've been an entrepreneur. I've made my own startups with no-code. I've helped startups scale with no-code like Humpty. And just a few months ago, I left Bardeen and I'm starting this own path to build my own automation consultancy at Overdrive. That is the name of my agency, where we create automations and AI consulting services for sales teams, for real estates and VCs to enter in overdrive, to enter in this maximum state of productivity, of results, of flow. And besides my work as a no-coder and in automations, well, I also like to do my fair share of travel. I am a digital hippie, as I call it here. I was a digital nomad for the last 2 years. I was able to travel a lot through South America and through Europe. And right now, I am talking to you guys from Bogota, and that I'm back home. So with that, my intention for today is to identify and kill some of those mental objections we get when doing sales in this stage through automation. So I want to get into those mental models of, how do we do this, which tool, if I do X or Y. I want to showcase some tools and automations that can help you in this stage go from 0 to 1. I want to help you share some tools and showcases that I've done for myself and for clients to put in those sales reps, right? Those sales effort, like going to the gym more efficiently. And finally, to discover what you didn't know that you didn't know, what you didn't know that you couldn't even automate. So I don't know if you guys have ever seen something like this. Can you raise your hand if you haven't seen something like this? So this is kind of a presentation of the cycle of change. It is very used on entrepreneurship when we're talking about, you start with this uninformed optimism, you're excited about your idea, you get started with your consultancy, you get to build your needs, you get to define your services. Then you go into this informed pessimism when you're like, okay, we're going there, but I still don't know what, how to lead this, how things work. And then the next step is usually the valley of despair when you are just completely lost and you have no clue where to go from there and you're stuck there. So, and that I think is one of the main things, like according to also Gabriel, is that people get stuck on this stage when doing consulting on the valley of despair because they are not doing the reps, because they're not putting in the work. And right now, we are on that stage. We are on before that stage, before the valley of despair, we are on the face of informed pessimism. We've already found our niche, we've defined our service offerings, and now shit gets hard. We actually need to execute. We actually need to get shit done, right? So that's the hard part. That is actually going out there, writing those messages, doing the reps, right? And the difference from the consultants that go beyond the valley of despair and the ones that stay there is, what do you guys think it is? There might be some tips, some hidden secrets here. Well, I guess you can find it here. It's actually just doing the work. It's like doing the work that moves the needle. And in this stage, it's usually doing the sales, like working on sales. And like really, strategy is really easy. Like defining like that exercise that we did on the first week, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do consulting for X. That is the easy part. But the reality is not that easy. The reality is execution. And usually you already know what you need to do. You're just not doing it. So that is the reality, is that we know what we need to do, but we're not getting there yet. And there's this exercise that I recently learned from Stoicism that is called inversion thinking. And it's, what do we need to do to guarantee failure right now? Like in this stage. Like, can you guys tell me like what you need to do to guarantee failure? Do nothing. Okay, that's great. Anything else? Maybe do not send one message, do not connect to your network. Do not like, don't write to your followers. They don't matter, right? Like they are not interested in your services. Stay in your comfort zone. Don't bother about identifying new potential clients. Limit your outreach efforts. Don't respond immediately. Never ask for referrals. Stick to the manual processes. Just embrace the manual and just keep doing what you're doing, right? So that is what you need to do to guarantee failure. Now, this exercise of inversion thinking is actually like, it is easier for the human brain to identify what you need to do to fail because we are wired to think about bad things. But then if we turn this around, we understand like, okay, what we need to do to succeed, we need to write to your followers. We need to find where your prospects are. We need to find their information. We need to outreach them. We need to send those messages, send those emails, ask for referrals, automate your workflows. And in sales, remember that like I think there's only two ways. Based on what I've learned, is like there's only two ways to improve on sales. You either do more or you do better. And what I want to help you today is like, let's try to do better and do more through automation. And the things that are stopping us in this stage are usually, and these are things that I'm also telling myself sometimes, right? I don't have time. I don't know what to start. Which tool should I use? I overcomplicate on the tool. I don't know how to write this email. I don't know how to do it at scale. And the root case is usually that I am either overcomplicating the how, because at the beginning, it matters more just putting in the reps and just going out and doing sales and doing things that don't scale. Or it's that I have a perception of how much time it'll take that just like blocks me to actually doing it. But it's not even reality. But it's like the feeling of, oof, I have to send 100 emails. That just sounds very scary, right? Like I have to send 100 messages. I have to connect to all the people in my network. And all of these, they become lower and less scarier when you start executing and when you start doing it. And here, where automation plays is that automation can help close that gap of knowledge on what you need to do and execution. And these are some of the blockers that I want to tackle today on how to search for my contacts. I'm not tapping into my LinkedIn network. How do I send and track messages? You know, writing emails is so time consuming. Writing messages is time consuming. There's a lot of copy pasting involved in this process. How do I even scale this? So many things that just get into our minds. And I want to show you some of the tactics and things that can help you overcome those blockers. So let's dive into the tools that I'm going to show you today. These are a few of a very big stack of tools that it's almost overwhelming that you will find on sales, because every day there's new AI tools, there's new automation tools, there's new sales tools. So these are the ones that I want to show you, and just don't obsess so much on the tool, rather see the value of the process, because there are many ways to achieve this. Bardeen has alternatives, ChatGPT has alternatives, Lead Gen has alternatives. And just to dive into these, like Bardeen is an all-in-one web automation tool. It allows you to scrape data, enrich information, find emails, automate processes from your web, from a Chrome extension, and have a human in the loop usually on those processes. So instead of doing this when this and that, typical of Zapier, you can run automations in the moment when you're already prospecting, when you're already looking for clients, when you find a directory of potential leads, you can run automations with Bardeen. The second one is ChatGPT, that of course you're familiar with. It's this AI assistant for everything. And I found it very particularly powerful to create your own GPTs to enhance that sales process. And the third tool is HeyGen, that is basically a LinkedIn message campaign sender. So it allows you to, based on, for instance, LinkedIn URLs, you're capable of sending campaigns that go like their post, connect, then send a message, then if they connect, then X, and you can set those automations up. Some alternatives to HeyGen you've probably heard about are Wallexy, Lemlist, and these are tools that allow you to make those campaigns. At the end of I will share this presentation, so don't worry about this. You will be able to gather the tools and be able to use the goodies that I'll show you as well. So let's start with this limitation. That is, okay, all of us have a LinkedIn network, right? But are we really tapping into it? And are we really doing it? Like, what was the last time you went to your last contacts and wrote the messages to each one of them or to the qualified prospects? And it's a bit overwhelming as well, because it's like, I don't know how to search. It takes too much time. You know, writing intros is time consuming. I don't know who to refer to, Ivan. That's just a joke. But there's a lot of copy pasting involved in this process of tapping into your network, finding the people in your network. And what we can do is we can use AI to optimize this process of finding the people in your network that can be your prospects, that you can tap into, that you can ask questions, that you can connect with, and you can find patterns inside your network. And that is like step one when you're becoming a consultant, is like, don't go do outreach, just tap into your own network, because you've already built reputation on your network. So tap into that. And what I'm going to show you is how we can improve our contact management with a context assistant, with an AI that allows you to do these things, to search your contacts, analyze intros among people in your network, analyze your network, even write intros, or even scrape LinkedIn. So this is one of the products that I built recently. It's called My Contacts GPT, and it's a GPT that you build for yourself based on your LinkedIn network. And it's an assistant that allows you to just do effortless LinkedIn networking. And I'm gonna show you the secrets of how you can do this, because this has proven to be very valuable for myself, to just do simple prompts like find me the VCs in my network, and this will find the VCs in my network. Even if they don't fit the search criteria of LinkedIn, it'll do a better search than LinkedIn. If I want to, okay, I found Felipe. Let's write an intro message for Felipe. Oh, I want to introduce Pedro to Javier. Let's write an intro message because it already has the information of my LinkedIn network that it can tap into for me to accelerate those processes, right? So the way you set this up, and you can either follow this or I will show you the guide the guide later on. But it's not that scary actually. This takes I built it in a way that it takes less than 30 minutes end to end to get this going for yourself. So what you do is you literally export your contacts on LinkedIn, and that is a free option. People don't know about this, but this is so valuable. Like you can have a spreadsheet with all of your contacts, and that can be your CRM. That can be your base for your CRM, for instance. So you can export your contacts. You will have a spreadsheet, and then you're gonna go to ChatGPT. So for this, you will need GPT Plus because you need to create your custom GPTs, and then you will just import that spreadsheet and build a really good prompt that allows you to tap into those contacts. The prompt doesn't need to be very complicated. You can start with just, you have my contacts, you will be my assistant for networking. That's enough, you know? But that's basically what you do. You just input your LinkedIn network inside this GPT, and it will allow you to do things like find me all the people with this role that are recruiters in my network, analyze my contacts to find patterns, like who is my ICP based on the people that I have in my network, write an intro. And once you have that GPT, you can then start prompting and experiment. Right? This is a demo that I made. Based on my contacts and Jeremy's profile, what are 10 people I should introduce to him? And it just searched around for it. And it just got me that table that I can then copy paste into Notion or a spreadsheet or whatever. And it has the information originally from you. Here's the second one that is like, find all the ICP, like enter ICP, like find all the VCs in my network. Help me find the information from these people. So that is another example. And something that I made on this product is like a pro feature that is you set it up with an automation that is capable of scraping data from any LinkedIn profile. So you basically give it a LinkedIn URL, or you reference the URLs that you already have in your own network, and you can tell it, hey, enrich this profile and write me an introduction for this person. And look what it does. So it is, okay, GIF restarted. But what it does is basically goes with an agent behind the ground, like in the background, scrapes LinkedIn, gets you that information back to you inside of ChatGPT. And with that information, you're just one step away from writing him an email, from writing him a whatever you prompt. You already have all the information from his profile. In this case, I wanted to scrape this friend, Jeremy, and get his information and then write an introduction to Felipe Vallejo, that is a guy that is a VC. And this is what it is capable of scraping from LinkedIn. Full name, position, location, about, the experience, their education, everything. And that makes it not only for your network, but also if you're on the go, when you have your ChatGPT, you, from your phone or anywhere you have ChatGPT, you can just give it a URL and be like, help me scrape this profile. And that's easy. So that is kind of an evolution that I made with this specific product. So let me just continue. And the last step for this system is to sustain and enrich your contact space, right? Because LinkedIn gives you a few data points. It gives you the name, the LinkedIn, the position, the company. And once you enrich that information with more information, it becomes even more powerful. If you're able to get not only those basic fields, but also get, okay, the about, where they study, their degree, then the AI becomes more powerful. So you can say things like, hey, help me find all the software engineers. And your network already has like the data to actually prompt and search for the software engineers. So this last step is a series of automations that I built with this that help you enrich. And by enrich, I mean, get more data points based on those LinkedIn profiles to get better results. So you can even find their emails. You can find different data points like their companies, their skills, their language. I recently even was able to extract the latest post, right? So these are some. This is a recommended automation that you can use for free in Bardeen, by the way. That is called enrich LinkedIn profiles from a Google Sheet with more LinkedIn fields, right? So you have a spreadsheet and you have LinkedIn URLs there, and you want to run a scraper that gets into those profiles, scrapes data back to the Google Sheet, and enrich you all of that base. And that can help you outreach, improve the system, or so many other possibilities. So the first perk is that you will be able to get this GPT for free. So I've set this up as there's a basic version that you can get here. And if you want to try it out, feel free. I'd love to get your thoughts, your feedback. And that is kind of the a first product that I've built recently. And it comes with an implementation guide of how to achieve this in less than 30 minutes. And there's like a free version that you can get, and there's like a paid implementation or a pro version with the kind of like agent that I mentioned. Now, okay, I want to do a health check. Until now, any questions, comments, thoughts? Okay.
Yeah,
Hey.
I have a question. This is great, by the way. This is awesome. Wanted to see if you've thought about building something that also explores like going into what is it, this second layer connections? Because usually what ends up happening, someone is like,
Mhm.
oh, let me like look at my network and see if you can if I can introduce you. Usually my networks have 500 people, so then it becomes like I was like, okay, well now I have to study their list of their network,
Yeah.
go into it. Like, have you found a way to solve
Yes.
that problem?
Yes. So just as you can scrape your own network, and just as you can scrape LinkedIn, as I showed you, I will show you in a bit like an example of actually scraping LinkedIn. But you can also scrape second degree connections. So you can go to Gabriel, find his second degree connections, and scrape them using Bardeen or some other automation tools. I found Bardeen very just like a bit more intuitive than others. And if you have that list, even if you don't have all the information of the world, that is still very valuable because you have their headlines, their URLs. And in this case, Eric, for instance, you can have, once you get that Google Sheet, you can merge it with the first like contact space, and then you can have it inside this GPT. So you not only have your own network, but you've now expanded it to second degree contacts. So you can do this for your teammates, if you have partners, for your business partners, for your boss. Like you can also do something like this. The only thing to consider is that you will require LinkedIn Premium after a certain point of seeing second degree contacts, because LinkedIn like limits the amount of this. But you can still use scraping tools like Bardeen, and they work really well because they work on your browser. So you don't really you don't have risks of getting blocked or anything. Well, it's lower risk, much lower. But you can also run it from your browser, create your automation. It's a bit easier. So yeah, that can be possible, and you can use it to complement this system. All right, so let's go into the second like objection that I wanna tackle is like messaging and tracking outreach takes too long, right? On last sessions, I heard a couple comments on like, oh, my struggle is tracking people that I've outreached with. And also that once I'm in the profile, I take a lot of time writing the message. And you get like a writer's block whenever you're on a LinkedIn profile. You're like, okay, how do I connect with this person? How do what should I write to him? And you want to stand out as well. And usually you want to use things like if they have your common connections, if they share something interesting in common, if you have something valuable for them to share, not try to sell them, just connect with them in a engaging way. And I want to show you this automation that is like very powerful, like 5-in-1 automation that I built for a client that was an SDR. And he, with this automation, he goes into a LinkedIn person. So here, for instance, and he runs this automation, and it's able to scrape the profile, then scrape the company from this profile, then utilize artificial intelligence to use that information. Oh, you're not seeing, oh my God.
No, it's not right now, no.
Okay. No worries. So the second one is, as I was saying, messaging and tracking outreach takes too long. And this is the example that I want to show you. Is so the automation, what it does is that you go to a profile, you run the automation, and then not only does it scrape data from the profile, but it also scrapes data from the company. It logs that information on Google Sheets. So it can be your CRM. It generates an outreach email and generates connection message that you can use. So these are like drafts that you can use to go above that writer's block and send a message quicker, or get some ideas on what you can do, on what you can send. And of course, you're gonna be thinking like, is it like out of the box outreaches? Well, no, because these automations can be customized to your own ICP, to what your company does. There's multiple fields that you can input there in the AI to tell the AI like, hey, this is what I do. Here's my company. Here's what I offer. Here's my information, and customize the messages based on that. So here's the example just to finish. So it got the name, it got the email, the about, the headliner, the company, even the image, and it got a message connection and and an email draft as well. And the cool thing is let's use this gift, is that it's not even on its final form. Like, you can even go further from this, and you can run it at bulk. You can run it at scale. For instance, if you have 10, or not scale, but you can run it for 10 profiles and get the drafts of the messages that you should send. So you can streamline a bit the process, and you don't go through that writer's block. This is how I'm accelerating it currently. I don't know if you guys can hear. I'm assuming that not. Did you guys hear?
No.
Okay, I'm gonna share again. 1 second. Also share audio tab. Nope. Window. Got it. So, okay, now it's your exactly how I'm experimenting with automation too. So I'm gonna mute this, so otherwise it's a bit cringy. But this automation that I built for myself, and this is the automation that I use for myself, is capable of doing what I just showed you, but then it evolved it a bit more, because I got to input data into the AI and tell it, this is Bardeen's interface, by the way. And I not only tell it like, okay, you're an outreach expert, I need you to redact 3 LinkedIn messages, and you need to customize them based on the following information that I will give you. Utilize these fields that you've just scraped, like, what did they last post about? What are our common connections? Which company do they work for? Do we have any things in common, like the about? And then it uses that information to generate, and I give it also my own information, like my own, like, what are the languages that I speak, what I do, a bit of a short overview of who I am and what I offer. And then when I run this, it asks me like, okay, provide me any additional context. That's optional. But basically I can tell it like, okay, have you ever speak Spanish? And then it'll run this, it'll create the prompts, and it'll customize them to my profile. It'll generate 3 options for LinkedIn connection messages and 3 options for emails that I can send. And also there's some and an option for messages for people that you're already in your network. So for instance, if I go to Pedro, I can run this and I can get some ideas on how to reconnect with him, let's say, because I haven't talked to him on years. Hey, how's life? I see that you just changed, you're on this company, and we should reconnect. I am doing automation, things like this. So this is like examples of the emails that we got here. So yeah. Hey Javier, I saw your profile. So there's like a few examples here. Let's just unmute it. I share your interest in innovating in the real estate industry. I'd love to learn more about your experience in this company, that is where he's working at. And would you like to connect and share some ideas? Cheers, Ivan. Boom. Now, this is something that so this on itself, this message is something that is like, I would actually send this. Like it gets to customize it with, like the AI knows that I'm targeting real estate. So it said, I share your interest in innovation in real estate and I'd love to learn more about your experience in this company. Let's connect and share some ideas. And
I want to
that is kind
replicate
of
not
like
only for
a use
and
case.
I was
And all of this is not only like
intrigued about your
happens in real time, but it also saves that information and it becomes like trackable. So I have that information. Here's some other example for a VC. And I have that information saved into my own system. I use Notion, for instance. So this helps save the information that and track it. So if I contacted Audrey, I have the messages here, and I have also labeled that this is an approaching stage. So Audrey, I already approached her. I've sent her a message. This is her information, and all of this was saved into Google Sheets. So I want to ask you if you guys see the potential on this automation for using it for yourselves. That's funny. We have Audrey here. Hi, Audrey. All right. So there's a second perk to this call is that you will be able to get this automation. I've built a simplified automation for you guys that you can use, and it's not as complex as mine because mine I've like elaborated a lot. I have limited time, but it still will go through 90% of this. So you go to a LinkedIn profile, you redact an AI generated message for LinkedIn, you redact an AI generated message for email, then you connect it to Apollo, so you can have a free account of Apollo. If you're not familiar with Apollo, Apollo is like the biggest database for enriching information and finding emails and finding contacts like in the world. So this basically, if it doesn't find the email on the LinkedIn profile, it'll search it on Apollo and it'll get you that information. And then you can customize it. So you can see how it works here. Let's see. So I am in Esteban, and this is how you're going to be able to run it. I will share the like this as the presentation with you guys. Let me share it so you can get it as well. But okay, sorry. So you go to a LinkedIn profile, you select the spreadsheet that you want to save this on. You type like, hey, I'm offering this. I am offering fractional automation services for VCs. What is my company? What is my name and role? So I am an automation consultant, Ivan. So you can input your like basic information, and it'll customize that outreach for that person. So I am going too fast. I know, Eric's. I'm so sorry about it. I think I prepared for a bit longer. So I yeah, last minute thing. So anyway, I hope this is helpful. I will share the automation with you guys so you can give it a try. Yeah, we'll have the recording so you guys can see it as well. And we're gonna have a small moment for FAQs at the end as well. So log your questions. All right. All right. Appreciate the messages. So you're ready to try this, and let me know how it goes. Right. So the third thing that I want to tackle is, you have LinkedIn followers. This is more of a showcase, but you have LinkedIn followers, right? And followers are very obvious leads for you, and people do not usually tap into them. Like, if somebody's following you, they have interest on what you're posting, and it's not that often that we actually start conversations with them. It's not that often that we outreach them or reconnect with them or even check their profiles. And there's like a few problems and blockers that we get here is like, oh, I cannot get my followers list. LinkedIn does not allow me to export. I need to qualify those leads. I want to outreach one leads. And the solution that I built, I shared this today on my LinkedIn, actually, if you want to check it out, is setting up a scraper and a lead qualifier combo. So it's like an automation that is capable of going through all of my followers, scraping them, and then qualifying those leads based on my own thesis. And it gets me this spreadsheet that says qualification and the reason for that qualification, as well as the basic information from that spreadsheet. So for me, this is just like it just saved me like probably 2 hours of work or something. And now I can get this spreadsheet, filter it for the qualified leads, and send them a custom campaign, a messaging campaign, or find their emails. And I now have a filtered approach. I don't have to go through everyone. I can just like prioritize the ones that I care about. And this is a lead qualifier that Verdeen has inside their platform that you can build for yourself just by answering a few questions on like, what is your service? How do you define what is a qualified lead? And it's kind of intuitive. So that is a showcase, and I've shared this on LinkedIn, and I want to share it with you today. Oops. So wait a second. And the perk number 3 is you can actually get this automation as well, so you will be able to use it. So yeah, perks keep coming. I hope this is useful, and you can get this automation through that presentation that I sent. You just gotta pin the automation, go to your LinkedIn connection list, so followers, run the automation, and oops. And to do so, it'll just the only thing you need to pre-set up is make that kind of like qualifier, the classifier of leads, and that shouldn't take long either. And Bardeen will guide you through the flow. So anyway, if you have questions, reach out to me and we can check it as well. And yeah, some of my main takeaways, and just to wrap this up, is that radical execution plus automation is the way. For me, this is kind of my thesis, is that you first do things manually, and then you figure out a way to automate. But you should not go first with automation. Like these things and this thing that I've showed you today are the result of me starting to send messages manually first, and then getting into how do I automate this, because the universe of automation is huge. So you need to be really careful to prioritize your efforts. Second, to focus on execution. Like before you scale things, you focus on execution. And then now you have some tools and some ideas of how to achieve this. And that practice makes perfect, right? So you got to put in the reps. And yeah, that is kind of like the overview. I also had some other ideas that you will be able to see in the presentation, so you can do your homework. So here I have ideas on how to get data on bulk from LinkedIn, how to do company research because it takes so long, and like how do I get a report from a company. I have a list of information. How do I get more information from that LinkedIn profile? Achieve growth hack using Facebook members, like Facebook group members. And yeah, that's about it. If you need a customized solution, well, you can contact me. I do either automation power hours that are individual consulting sessions, like kind of like a mix between consulting and just like I teach you. So it's built with you services. So we can hop into a call, we build an automation with you, and we go step by step. I also offer packages for that. So you can also try that if you're interested. And if you have a company that has manual workflows that have kind of high impact and you haven't been able to automate them for a while, that they could change kind of either the revenue or the operations in your company, I also have an agency that is capable of offering this fractional automation service. We do either projects or just like ongoing basis support for your company. So yeah, I wanted to open it up to questions and get your thoughts.
This
Thank
was
you so
really
much.
awesome, Ivan. It was really great. I'm really happy that we have homework, but also benefits. I don't know if it's some of the members right now have any questions. I think we have a lot of insightful information, but probably you have some extra question that you might ask Ivan.
Go ahead. Tools to stack, automations. If you have any questions, I'm here to hear.
I think I will have a lot of questions once I have tried it.
Amazing.
I feel like it's moving fast forward. But it's
Moving.
really interesting.
All right. Thank you for the feedback, though. Hey, Fernando. How are you?
Hi, Ivan. Thank you for your time and your explanations. It was great. I was wondering, not for LinkedIn connections, but I've tried some automations for scraping and bringing data from a portal, for example, real estate listings to a spreadsheet. But I'm having a hard time finding one that can do 2 degrees. So, for example, find a list of apartments, and then for each apartment, go in and get the detail from that apartment and bring it also to the list. Do you know anyone that is good for this?
Yes. So that is called either deep scraping or nested scraping. And it's when you have, for instance, like you go to a LinkedIn search and you have those profiles, but you not only want the information from the search, you also want to get into each one of those profiles, and you do a second layer. So for instance, if you're doing Zillow or real estate websites, that's usually the case, that you want to get more information. I just recommend Bardeen in this case. Browse AI or Simple Scraper are also good alternatives that you can try for this. And yeah, Bardeen will allow you to do this. You can search it up on like Bardeen Scraper tutorial. Basically, it'll go through, or I made a lot of live events on scraping with Bardeen. So there's like a master class that I made on scraping that you can check, and it'll teach you how to do deep scraping. And it's really not that hard. Like, it's really, you just scrape the links, and then with Bardeen you can refer back to that to that step in the automation and say, like, that link that I just scraped, help me get it through another scraper, and then save everything. So it's yeah, it's definitely possible. It depends on what you're doing, Fernando. And my question is also, are you doing it on like a few, or is like for a few, or is it for scale? Because it'll like the solution will vary.
Yeah, it was actually, for example, for a project yeah, for a few initially, to not for scale, right? So to understand some opportunities,
Yeah,
or
then
for project.
in this case, I think Bardeen will be the easiest. I'm actually preparing. And which platform is it, by the way? Is it like Zillow?
I tried that with Zap, I think, in Brazil, but that was just playing around to get to know the tool, right? I tried that with Browse AI, and I couldn't do the deep scraping. I don't know if they do, and I haven't found how, but I'll try Bardeen.
Got it. Yeah. Well, I'm most familiar with the Bardeen, but I know some other tools. I also used Parse. I think Parsed, something like this. So yeah, I think you should check out. In this case, Bardeen might be a good solution. But my question was: is it a real estate like directory, or is it like for Brazil, or?
Yeah, it's a portal. I was actually applying to browse different portals and compare information from different portals, but it was just I was just really playing around. But I got a real demand now that has to do not with real estate, but with the same kind of problem.
Yes, that is really cool. And by the way, guys, like, I think for sales, just this basic skill of basic scraping is so useful. Like, so many times you go into a page of an event, or you go into a like directory, and you find literally companies that could be your prospects or people or emails. And it might be so easy to just scrape it if you know the right tool. So like yesterday, I was with a Salesforce consultant, and he told me that his niche was like companies that have Salesforce, big Salesforce consultants from USA. And we went into their website, and they have a partner page, and all of the information of the companies and their emails are there. And it's like, you can just scrape it right there, and you have your lead list like right away. So yeah, that's a really cool example that you mentioned, Fernando, and just like call to action to learn a little bit about scraping. Any other questions? That is such a cute kid. All right.
I'm sure that all of you will have more questions once you finish the recording. But I don't know if anything else, maybe Ivan, you want to add something else that you didn't mention that you think is a key factor for for the members right now that maybe in the future some hack or something, because they will process the information that you share and all these steps, but maybe it's something else that you want to share.
Like an idea, like a hack for what?
For apply this, maybe something that
Oh,
will
yeah.
be easier the process.
I think it's
Hello?
right. Yeah, I mean, how you apply this, as I was telling, is like start manually and leverage automation as much as you can once you identified what you need to do at scale. Like if you have a directory with 30 companies, and it'll take you more time to automate it than to just do the work and manually do it. So my call to action is like prioritize time for sales, just like to outreach, to build those lead lists. And if you're familiar with this type of tools like Bardeen, like WalletC, with tools like Simple Scraper, they will be so practical for you to like actually turn those ideas and those strategies into execution. I also have here, like, Georgie just entered. So Georgie, he's my partner from the agency. So I wanted to introduce him. He's gonna be joining us in Colombia very soon, and he's the expert for anything AI related, because I am on the level of no code. He knows everything related to AI inside our agency. So yeah, whenever you guys, if anyone is in Bogota, please let us know and we can schedule a chat. And yeah, just last call to action. If you ever need like custom help on how to set this up, like the last perk really is just let's book a call. Let's have an I am offering free automation strategy sessions for anyone here, and you can just book a moment with me. You can do it from here, from the presentation, and we can just go over some ideas, some opportunities, and we can discover what we can do. Remember that if you also find like small things, like it doesn't need to be huge projects. We also do like hourly consulting, and yeah, radical execution and automation is the way.
Thanks a lot, Ivan. Well, yes, it was really insightful. It was really with a lot of value. Thanks a lot, everyone, for your time. As I see, we don't have more questions, but probably all of you will reach out even later. Thanks a lot for joining. I hope we can see in the next sessions. And yeah, thanks a lot for your time. Have a nice rest of the day. Thanks, Ivan.
Thank you. Let's connect on LinkedIn, by the way. It will be awesome to get to know you guys.
You can put it on the chat, and of course, I will share that information also with the recording.
All right. Thank you so much.